way, that is Professor Zhuo Chen, Economic Evolution and Health Informatics System. We have a 4-day session, 3-day session, actually 3rd November to 6th November. And Professor Mahmoud Khan, that made a autumn school successful, and he is one of the guys who are talking about him, research director of health informatics in University of Georgia. So welcome, Professor Chen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you, the organizer, for this wonderful conference. I really enjoyed it. For the city, university, and also the presentations. This is a great meeting with experts from every corner of the world, and really enjoyed learning about the research. We rapidly. As Professor Sadar mentioned, every health system, health information system, just hit a price level. Right? We need investment. We need to see whether it's effective investments. So this, leads to the topic of my presentation: economic evaluation. How much the information system works, how much you should invest in the health information system. As Professor Cesar mentioned, my name is Zhuo Chen, and I'm from the University of Georgia. Okay. I will try to keep this quick, and what I'm going to talk is 3 components. One is about evaluation, and then we'll talk a bit about evaluation, economic evaluation of the health systems, and then we'll talk a little bit about the sunk cost, which is one of the issues associated with the health information system. So this is the evaluation definition, systematic process to determine the value of its significance. We need to evaluate, because if we cannot evaluate, if we cannot measure the performance of the system, we won't be able to improve it. There are different types of evaluation: program evaluation, product evaluation, and of course economic evaluation. We probably can find out the details. Evaluation process. Can I do that? We need to define the problem and select the framework and indicators, collect the data and analyze the results, and report the findings and recommend actions. Framework, there are 2 frameworks that we can use, among many other frameworks. There's IS success model and heartbeat framework. If I can go quickly. So these are the models that we can use, and their key dimensions of the data quality: accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistency, and also validity, accessibility. Next slide. There are many challenges. Missing values, you probably know that. When collecting information, there's race and ethnicity in electronic health records. Duplicated records, delayed reporting, for the COVID-19 and many other things we have seen that there's delayed reporting, right? And coding errors. I'll give you one example. I used to work at US CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a government agency. And at one point, US CDC, they found reports of Caribbean Congo hemorrhagic fever. It's a disease that's highly contagious and problematic. They were curious about it. They don't know really why, and they actually had to went to the data details, and they found out that actually these are coding errors of CHF, the congenital heart failure. So there's a lot of the things that we need to look into. Well, other things also include the data silos, alerts, fatigue, poor navigation, inconsistent design, information overload, and lack of interoperability. We probably can skip this, and then we go to the economic evaluation of the information systems. Well, why we need the economic evaluation of economic evaluation of public health information systems? Well, we need to find out if it's really a working system, right? So this is a public health informatics. Well, the system is not really just a fancy system. It does have its utility, which is ultimate utility is to improve population health. It's a systematic application of an analysis, collection data, and we need to turn that into knowledge. And we need to capture, manage, and analyze, and use information, and then to improve the population health. So this is the cycle of information values. And for I probably wanted, since we have limited time, to push about this. Again, this is the information value cycle from data, information, knowledge, action, wisdom, and we can do that again as a cycle. So why we need to have economic evaluation of the public health information systems? Well, we need to formulate informed decision to allocate resources, right? Maximize gains and choose between alternatives. And one of the things in the public health informatics is to determine whether we need to update a system, right? I'm not sure if you know that the United States has been really lagging in terms of updating the coding in terms of the health care system, the ICD-9 codes, ICD codes. Well, European countries and other countries actually used to they actually updated the ICD-9 much earlier than the United States. So it's a sunken cost, and we need to find a way to update, to evaluate how we can update the system with cost effectiveness. So these are the information system values we need to evaluate to determine what's the best course of actions. Well, information is always has value, and we need to well, I want to introduce a concept called sunken cost. Sunken cost is the investment that you already invest in the system. to create infrastructure for production of information. And these costs are the things that you always think is already there, and you want to recoup the benefits of that cost. But in many situations, your sunken costs won't be able to contribute to the production of the health system. Well, with the challenges of big data, 5V, variety, velocity, and volume, veracity, and also the void, we need to update our system as needed. Well, we need to conduct information system planning in 3 levels: strategic, tactical, and operational. And we also need to think about the investment, the cost and benefit portfolio, and we need to channel the capital investments in the right direction. Well, so for the cost and benefits, we need to think about sunken costs, variable costs, indirect costs. And the benefits, we need to consider the economic benefits and also the intangible benefits. We can capture inputs and manage and then conduct analysis and then make decisions. Well, sunken costs, well, this is one of the things that in many health information systems we need to think about. Well, we already spent a lot of money, and we still want to continue this, right? We cannot give up. But this is really a mentality. In many cases, we have different scenarios. We have implemented a EHR, but maybe it's better to write off the system if the future costs or fixed costs will outweigh the future clinical and financial costs. Right? And we have a different kind of the sunken cost examples. So what do? Well, to avoid the sunken cost trap, we need to establish clear exit criteria, define the objective measurable metrics before the project starts. And we also need to evaluate from time to time to assess if one of the metrics is missed, a key milestone, treated and unbiased review by an independent steering committee. We need to decouple the evaluators from initial investors. Team making continuous staff decisions should include the leaders not responsible for the original content or the system selection. Otherwise, there will be attachment to the original investment. And the third is to conduct a zero-based budgeting. And the fourth is to prioritize clinical outcomes of past efforts. Well, I do have some resources, and maybe if the students need, we can share with them. I want to mention that briefly about why we were doing this project. When I was with US CDC, I worked with a couple of the informatics fellows about evaluating the projects, the health systems at the US CDC. And we found out that many of them, CDC systems, tend to be old and they continue to run, but while the staff members, the management has a attachment to the older system, and we consider that an economic evaluation of the different alternatives would help the leadership to make a decision whether it's time to ditch the old system, whether it's time to start something new. And that's why we conducted this framework of economic evaluation of the public health systems. These are the individuals that I work with, and well, again, I really enjoyed this conference. I hope this is something that we can talk and nurture future collaborations with some kind of state university. Thank you.
So thank you, Professor Zhuo and Chen. Now, from China, Fujian Medical University, who were studied in US also, both of them. So the topic is urban-rural disparities in public distrust of physician and healthcare utilization, a nationwide study in China. So we have running out of time, so we will be little brief. Both of you, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's honor to be here. So because time limited, so I will try to give a very brief report about this one. So this research is called the urban and rural disparities in public distrust of physicians and healthcare utilization. Nationwide study in China. I just want to give you a case how to use the secondary data to do some research and how to use AI a little bit. So very important, just give you a little bit background. For the public distrust in physician is core of the physician-patient relationship and function as social capital for an effective health system. So when the trust is absent, patient may refuse. Patient may refuse to adhere to medical advice, withhold crucial information, reject healthcare service, and even incite medical violence under extreme situation. So that's why we want to do, although there are some research here, but we still want to focus on Chinese cases. So we just for the object of this study analyze the associated effect before the between public distrust in physician and healthcare utilization. So we use the very famous, we call very famous theoretical model we call the behavioral health utilization model developed by the Anderson. So you can see from here we have this one is we call the distrust physician belong to the health belief or attitude. So they will affect the use of the health care. Okay. So for next, I just want to introduce a little bit for the data. The data we used in this study is called the China Family Planning Study, conducted by the Peking University. So this is longitudinal data start 2010. And this data collects individual, household, and community level, 3-level data. So I just give a little bit for the sample. So as I said, we use data from 2012 to 2022, about, you say, more than 168,000 observations included in this data, in this study. So next is the point. When we just measure, use the public distrust in physician is key independent variable. We just ask them distrust physician or not, range from 0 to 10. 0 means completely trust in physician. 10 means it's completely distrust in physician. We use the dependent variable means inpatient care utilization and outpatient care utilization. Based on the models, the theoretical model, we have the two control variables like age, gender, income, family size, BMI, and so on. So you can see this is key point. When we use this survey data, always face a confused problem is missing data, missing value. You see, we have more than 168,000 person observation in this study. That means there are a lot of missing. For example, you can see that height, when we measure the height, about 30,000 person miss this data. If we use traditional method just to delay this, we will a lot of observation. So in this case, we just use the multiple imputation. When we use the multiple imputation by the Chen equation, we found a lot of problem because big data set. We use this data, they almost report error, like the convergence not achieved. What should we do? We try a lot of methods until we found we can use AI. So we use the ChatGPT and DeepSeek. We just tell them what problem we got it. So we just tell them, give more detail, what kind of data we have, what was problem. AI give us solution. We got the full data set. Okay, so based on this one, we already have the full data set, no missing. We use the multiple imputation. So we do a two-way fixed effect logic model to analyze the data. Okay, so we use this data. Okay, so I just show a little bit for the result. As we can see, for the discrete, the score of this distrust physician decreased a little bit actually, especially in the 2020. We already did the research because of COVID-19. We just announced doctor good enough, so you can see the public trust decrease, decrease, physician decrease. Okay, the other thing we just show the utilization. As you can see, before the COVID-19, you see the utilization outpatient, inpatient increased until to the COVID-19 decrease. Yeah. But I can tell you, after 2023, the utilization outpatient increased a lot. So next, give the key point. What we found rural residents who report higher level of public distrust in physicians show a lower likelihood to access outpatient care. The other thing very interesting, urban residents who report higher level of public distrust in physicians show a lower likelihood of access inpatient. It's very interesting result. Okay, so I just give a little bit of this is okay, no problem. So I just give some conclusion. So higher level of the distrust significantly reduced instance of utilization of the outpatient service in rural area and inpatient service in urban area, underscoring the different medical behavior in the rural compared to the urban area. So as the outpatient treatment is the primary method of the medical care, rural residents may forego it due to distrust in physician in rural area, compelled by the economic trust or limited choice. For the urban patients, may not priority outpatient service and could delay hospitalization due to scheduling regarding the physician medical advice, particularly in the cost inpatient care. So what should we do? I just give very simple recommendations so we can enhance physician-patient communication, and we can increase the accessibility and affordable. Lastly, we can do some both confidence in medical service. Okay, very brief presentation. Thank you so much. That's all.
Now